Well, g'day and welcome. This week's episode of My Coaching Story, we travel to Australia. Mark Blume, how are you, Blumey?
I'm very well, thank you, Brad. Bright early morning of springtime here, so yeah, beautiful.
Now, Mark, after 20 odd years of coaching, I've got to ask, why coaching? I mean, you're still doing it. You must love it. What is it about it that you enjoy?
What isn't to enjoy about helping people, Brad? It's an amazing opportunity that actually sees us on a daily basis make differences to people's lives, their business, their futures. It's just a cool place to be in, mate.
It's a very good summary of exactly what it is. What do you enjoy more, coaching people around their business, or when you see the personal side of it, their leadership development? Where do you enjoy it most?
I love working with them to change the business to fit what they want to get long term personally. So, we're all in business, to achieve personal goals, but a lot of people, the business owners we come across, get stuck in their business and really can't work out how to get free of that to enable the bigger goals to happen personally.
Yeah, I think that's a really big one. I love that about coaching, that we get to help people buy back their life, I guess, is sort of the simplest way to put it. Any particular industries you love, or is it across the board?
It's actually a little bit more demographic. Yes, it is a little bit trades based, but it's the late 20s to 40-year-olds that have been in a business for a little while. They're all in the not only growing the business as well as growing their kids, and it's just a cool space. And yeah, I'm a bit like a grandfather to them, I guess, but and it's just fun to watch that progress, for them to be hitting those personal goals that sometimes they're not even afraid to articulate when we first meet, because they're in pain. They just want to get away from where they're at. Well, amazing.
Yeah. So you do a lot of one-to-one coaching, but you also run group and education programs. Tell me about those programs and why do you run those, and what's the benefit of them? So
getting groups of business owners into rooms where they can learn off each other is really, really powerful. And whether it's a group program for 3 or 4 business together, or whether it might be just one of our 3-hour educational workshops around cash flow, or around team, or around, they'll get in a room and get some real benefit out of just learning from others. That's typically the biggest comment we get on feedback forms after any of those group events. Just love. Likewise, Growth Club, I think I'm now up to somewhere like 54 or 55 growth clubs that we've run. And the most powerful thing in those is the people in the room. It's not.
Now, for those who don't know, Growth Club is the quarterly business planning sessions where you help business owners plan. One of the things someone said from one of your growth clubs was that it's not just the learning, there's a community that you've built. Tell me more about that community, and why did you build that community?
Business owners can become very isolated. They're not game to even share their fears or their questions with their friends or family, or even their accountant. We develop, as coaches, such a cool bond and trust that in reality they're going to ask anything. And once they get in the room with other business owners, they learn everybody's either having the same, has had the same problem, or will have the same problem I'm having right now.
I think that's a great aspect of it, because I see now some of your clients talk about the results they've got in their team building, and some of them talk about it in their cash flow and that. Tell me a bit about, how do they get results in their team side of it, and how do they get results in their cash flow side of things, or their more sales and more business?
First, on the team side, as business owners, they've never been taught how to grow a team.
Mm.
You know, they've learnt along the way, usually by their mistakes, and that's where we best learn. However, as a coach, we're able to give them the shortcuts. We're able to give them some really powerful tools that lets them lift their team, lift the performance, and even then, once we start to lift performance, we get to a stage where cash flow isn't an issue anymore because we're getting more out of the team. I had a long-term client yesterday, ran what he called his best team meeting ever. Now, he's been running his team meetings on and off for a period of time, but you know, one of the things that we said for his quarterly plan was we're going to get back and we're going to nail these weekly team meetings to get the best value out of it. And he said, you know, yesterday's coaching session, he says, that was just truly amazing. That agenda and stuff that you helped me prepare and what we were going to talk about just worked so well. So yeah, we're able to just give people the tools.
Now, the sales and marketing side, a lot of your clients rave about the results they're getting there. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so particularly in the trades-based side, I generally find that there's a genuine fear of growth, of the unknown, and some of that's also tied up in I'm not worth that amount of money. So at times as a coach, we're working on their headspace to actually get them clear that it's okay to be profitable, it's okay to be successful, and it's okay to grow. So generally, lots of the time, it's just holding their hand and reassuring them, that you can be successful just doing a few different things in how you sell, how you market, and in reality, a lot of my business owners, we don't focus on marketing too much at all because they've got good businesses and a good referral network to start with. Let's do the stuff that's simple and easy to generate the growth.
Now, one other thing that a lot of your clients mentioned, and they both used actually the word cheerleader. Tell me more about why they see Mark as the cheerleader. I mean, I can't see you doing cheers on the side, but obviously they feel that's the way it is.
Yeah. So I think they're referring to the atmosphere in our planning day sessions early on, because as a group of business owners, we want to share each other's success. So we're actually cheering people on for the results they've got, or even for the goals that they're setting at the end of the day. They are genuinely a fun place to be because we're celebrating the success that they don't get to celebrate anywhere else. I've got a graduated client from about 5 years ago that I'm still the only person he can ring and celebrate with. Because in Australia we've got the tall poppy syndrome, as you know, and he wants somebody to share it with, and yes, he wants to ring his cheerleader and say, "You bloody beauty, how far have you come?"
So let's go back then. Pre-coaching, for those who haven't met you, tell people a little bit of your background pre-coaching, and then let's talk about where your business is going in the future.
So pre-coaching,
which was 20-something years ago. We have to tell people too.
So I opened and grew an automotive franchise business here in regional New South Wales. 3.5 hours west of Sydney. It was the first of those in regional Australia. I went on to then buy the franchise with a couple of other partners. And we grew that by nearly 300%, and stores all in every capital city, and then lots of regional cities in Australia as well. And that took us almost 20 years. My business here in my hometown ran by itself. It ran under management, so I could go away and do franchising stuff.
Yeah.
And my role was franchise operations. In inverted commas, that was coaching.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And when somebody came along with a bucket load of money and said, here's an opportunity for you to go and do something different, well, then you go and analyze, well, what do I want to do and what do I enjoy doing? And that was the coaching side of that business. So that's what led me into coaching all those years ago.
Now, you refuse to retire. You're going to keep running the business. Tell me, and I know that Lee's a little bit there. Where do you see the future of your coaching business?
My coaching business will and continue to run exactly as it is now, with the exception we'll just select less clients as we go along. Our definite plan is to run as hard as we are now for at least another 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I want to take some advantage out of the Action Coach global system, and we're going to do a bit of traveling and educating and training and other coaches and running global training and events. And in fact, unfortunately, I'm doing some training for the Vietnamese coaches Monday, Tuesday, virtually. Normally we'd go up.
Normally you'd be there.
and tag a holiday on the end of it.
Now, part of that, the Action Coach community, you've been a part of that community for a long time, and you've helped not only coach other coaches. What is it about that community that makes it work and makes it special?
I think, Brad, I know that it is that vision that you've created around world abundance through business re-education. We're really connected. Anybody that joins the organisation and 12 months down the track will say, I didn't necessarily think it could be as powerful as it is. Well, let me tell you, it is as powerful as I believe it in 20 years' time. Yeah, so it's a good place.
It is a wonderful thing to have a group of 1,000+ people that love helping people hanging out together. It's like it's pretty easy to find someone to give you a hand these days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's exactly right. If you reach out to another coach for some help, though, whether it's a coach in your country or a coach in another country that you've got some connection with, like some of the junior coaches that I do coach are astounded, Brad, when they'll throw a question up on the forum and you'll come back and answer it, and that's how connected we all are. Yeah. You want to see everybody successful, and you want to give that feedback to new coaches as well as coaches like that.
Yeah. Well, Mark, thank you so much for being such a great coach out there. Your clients have obviously been raving fans, hence you're on My Coaching Story, and love to have you on here today. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Brad. And I'll get on my Friday rest of the day off scenario.
Great plan.